Hello guys, welcome back. And today I'm going to be ranking my top 5 most NHL ready players in the 2019 NHL Draft. Now there's some fantastic talent throughout the 2019 NHL Draft, but which prospects are the most NHL ready and which prospects reach the top 5? Watch till the end to find out. Now, NHL readiness, if you don't know, basically just means how ready these prospects are to jump into the NHL and make an impact. Let's just look at a guy like Kaapo Kakko, for instance, who will likely be in the NHL next season and could be a potential Calder candidate. That is NHL ready. We're going to jump straight into the top 5, and at number 5, I have Brett Leeson. He's a right winger, a Canadian, age 20, 6'4", 201 pounds, with the Prince Albert Raiders of the WHL. He's in a pretty fantastic season, and could be one of these 2019 draft prospects, and maybe play in the NHL next season. When it comes to his WHL season, he played 55 games in the regular season, getting 36 goals, 53 assists for 89 points. In the playoffs, he played 22 games, getting 10 goals, 15 assists for 25 points. In the U20 World Juniors with Team Canada, he played 5 games, getting 3 goals, 2 assists for 5 points. When it comes to Brett Leeson's season overall, it was very solid. He showed some offensive potential, and he kind of had to, since he is 20 years old. He is an older prospect, but he has kind of proven himself, and even though he is an older prospect, could maybe go in the first round. When it comes to Brett Leeson's NHL readiness, it is kind of hard to gauge because it is pre-situational. Let's say he gets drafted in the first round by the Ottawa Senators with the Columbus pick or something, which could possibly happen, by the way. If it's the Ottawa Senators, of course, their team is not that deep, I can definitely see them playing Brett Leeson in year 1, which might not be the greatest move on their part, but it could actually happen. And with Brett Leeson, I think a lot of it depends on the team, because let's say he goes to a team like, I don't know, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and of course he's not going to play in year 1. But if it is the Ottawa Senators or something like that, I think that could definitely work. Now, for me personally, I would still give Leeson a couple of years in the AHL to really develop that overall game, but he's 20 years old. He's been in the WHL for quite a long time. I think he's ready to take that next step and maybe take that next step in the NHL. So again, I think it depends on the team with Brett Leeson. He has some talent. He's shown that so far in the WHL. Even though he is older, he could be worth that kind of first to second round pick. And for whoever drafts him, again, the NHL readiness is there, but it might not be there in year 1. Now, going on to number 4, and for my 4th most NHL-ready prospect in the 2019 NHL Draft, I have Fagemo. He's a left winger / right winger, a Swedish-born prospect at age 19, 5'11", 194 pounds, from Frölunda of the SHL, and he's had a pretty fantastic season, and it's proving why he should have been drafted just last year. Now, Fagemo has had a pretty solid season, especially in the SHL. In the SHL this season, he played 42 games played, getting 14 goals, 11 assists for 25 points. Very solid stats, even for a 19-year-old. In the Super League, he played 8 games, getting 10 goals, 4 assists for 14 points, dominating over there. In the U20 World Juniors with Team Sweden, he didn't get that much playing time, but he did play 5 games, getting 1 assist for 1 point. And when it comes to Fagemo, he had a very solid season in the SHL. He kind of proved himself offensively, especially in the playoffs, where he was very, very solid with Frölunda. And when it comes to Fagemo, I think he can be an NHL-ready player next season. It depends, of course, on the team that drafts him, but he's a guy that has kind of proven himself in the SHL to be a great player, especially offensively, and some teams could definitely use that. Now with Fagemo, I'd probably give him about a 50-50 chance to make the NHL next season. I think it could definitely happen, but kind of like a Brett Leeson, it is very opportunistic. It can depend on the team there. So with him, I could see him maybe playing in the NHL next season. It might be a little bit unlikely. Me personally, if I was going to draft him in the first or second round, I would personally have him in the AHL year 1 after the draft. Make sure he develops at least in the AHL for 1 year. I think having that responsibility for that North American game will definitely help him become that top 6 winger that I think he can be. If you rush him maybe in the NHL year 1, that could still happen, but I think it's a lot less likely to happen. And well, we gotta keep in mind that Fagemo is 19. Those SHL stats speak for themselves. The offense is certainly there. I think the potential that he has is pretty solid. He's shown that so far in his D+1 year. And I feel like with Fagemo, if he goes to the right team, he will develop quite well and could be NHL ready as soon as next season. Now going on to number 3, my 3rd most NHL-ready prospect in the 2019 NHL Draft, I have Jack Hughes. He's a center, an American, age 18 now. He just newly turned 18 a few days ago. 5'10", 170 pounds. And when it comes to Jack Hughes, a lot of people, including me, might have expected him to be at number 2, but I have him at number 3 for a lot of different reasons. Now when it comes to his season stats, obviously he had a great season. First playing the USDP, getting 50 games played, 34 goals, 78 assists for 112 points. points. In the USHL, he played 24 games, getting 12 goals, 3 assists for 48 points. In the U20 World Juniors, he played 4 games, got 4 assists for 4 points with Team USA. At the World so far, he's played 6 games, getting 1 assist for 1 point. And in the U18 World Junior Championships, he played 7 games, getting 9 goals, 11 assists for 20 points. Now, to me, throughout this season, Jack Hughes has always been a slam dunk NHL-ready prospect, and I always thought he would be playing in the NHL next season. But when it comes to how he's played against men's, especially in the World Championships, it hasn't given me too much hope that he'll be able to at least play good enough against men, and especially at the NHL level. And for the New Jersey Devils or for the New York Rangers, whoever ends up picking him, I'm not sure if he'll be that #1 guy that's a Calder finalist that just jumps right out of the gate and plays fantastic. I'm not sure if Jack Hughes is up to that task and can actually get that. We know he'll either go #1 or #2. With Jack Hughes, he hasn't convinced me and convinced pretty much the whole hockey world he can play against men, at least not yet. When it comes to the U20 World Juniors, Jack Hughes had a decent tournament, but he didn't really dominate, I don't think. When it came to the World Championships especially, I think he's been decent. He got a little bit unlucky so far, but I don't think he's been up to this elite level that people might expect him to be at, especially in a tournament that is as preferable when it comes to talent as the NHL level, obviously. When it comes to the World Juniors, I think he's been decent. Again, unlucky, quite a few post shots especially. But Jack Hughes, even with this tournament, even with the unluckiness, has not proven himself to be this elite player against men. And for that first year is kind of concerning because if he's only decent in the World Championships, who knows how bad he might play in the actual NHL level. But this is where the whole experience thing comes into play, because I think it could definitely help a guy like Jack Hughes. In the World Championships, he obviously has not played all too great, but he could use the things that he learned in the World Championships to really help him in the NHL. And we've seen that over time in the interviews, that's something that he wants to focus on, is learn from guys like Patrick Kane, learn from guys like Dylan Larkin on Team USA, and try to grow as a person and as a player to jump to that next level into the NHL. And that's very wise of Jack Hughes. It is a very good thing from the people to learn from this tournament, because he will have to. When it comes to his overall play on the ice, it hasn't been that good. But if you can train in the offseason quite well, and of course learn from mistakes so far in the World Championships, I think he'll do at least fine in the NHL and could be a lot more NHL ready than I expect right now. Going on to #2, my second most NHL-ready prospect in the 2019 NHL Draft, I have Bowen Byram, a defenseman, Canadian at age 17, 6 foot, 194 pounds. And Bowen Byram being #2 surprised me and will likely surprise quite a bit of you, but I think he is the second most NHL-ready prospect and could prove that with either Colorado or Chicago. Now, with the Vancouver Giants, he had an excellent WHL season, playing 67 games in the regular season, getting 26 goals, 45 assists for 71 points. In the playoffs, he was also fantastic, playing 22 games, getting 8 goals, 16 assists for 24 points. But throughout the season, Bowen Byram has been an absolute beast. Offensively, defensively, especially physically, he's shown it all, especially in the playoffs, where he carried up to an even higher gear. Offensively, he was an absolute beast for the Vancouver Giants, is one of the main reasons why they were going so close to Memorial Cup. When it comes to Vancouver Giants, he's been the backbone of that defense, offensively, defensively, and at age 17. Now, Bowen Byram will turn 18 in June, so it's not like he's this 17-year-old prospect. He'll be 17 after the draft. But when it comes to Bowen Byram, he has amazing potential and has potential to be one of the best players, especially defensemen, to come out of this draft. I think he's a slam dunk, the best defenseman in this draft, and he's proving it right now, especially in the WHL. When it comes to Bowen Byram's NHL readiness, though, I think he really showed that in the playoffs. While his regular season was solid, from what I saw in the playoffs, he had a poise that not many other prospects have in this draft. And it's really cool to see how mature he has become, how just good of a player he's become on the ice, and overall, I think he could be as NHL ready as soon as next season. Here's where the caveat comes for Bowen Byram. I think he is an NHL-ready prospect, but he's the type of guy that could be ready, but you want to definitely see him at least for another season. When it comes to Bowen Byram, I would personally, again, have him in the WHL for one more season, maybe bring him up for the NHL after that, but me personally, I would want to have him keep developing with the Vancouver Giants, who have shown a good pedigree of developing guys like that before. I think it would definitely work, and while you could play in the NHL year one, I'm not sure if that's the greatest idea. Now, if you do decide to stick him in the NHL in year one, I think he could do rather well. If he plays the whole season, maybe he goes to a team like Chicago, I could see him probably getting like 20 or 30, maybe even 35 points. I could definitely see that happening for a guy like him. He has offensive talents. I think he would adapt quite well. And while the potential might get a little bit banged up there, if he gets in the NHL year one, I think that would be an awesome experience, especially if he goes to a team like Chicago or Colorado Avalanche. Now, going to number one, my most NHL-ready prospect in the 2019 NHL Draft, I have Kaapo Kakko. He's a right winger, Finnish born prospect, age 18, 6'2", 190 pounds. With TPS, he has almost proved himself as the most NHL ready prospect in this draft, and I see that as 100%. I'll start with his season stats, and in the Liga, he had a very impressive season, playing 45 games, getting 22 goals, 16 assists for 38 points. You know, no big deal, just breaking the U18 goal-scoring record over guys like Sebastian Aho and Barkov. You know, pretty solid right there. With the U20 World Juniors team of Team Finland, he played 7 games, getting 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points. You know, no big deal, just getting the golden goal. He's pretty good, though. In the World Championships, a team with almost no NHL players at all, he has played 6 games so far, getting 6 goals, 1 assist for 7 points against mostly NHL competition. You know, that's pretty good. And it's not just the stats that make him an NHL-ready player, even though they definitely do show that. It's the overall game that really hits towards he can have an amazing season next year, whether it's with the Devils, whether it's the Rangers, he'll have a fantastic one. When it comes to his overall game, he does everything well. Puck skills, shooting, overall offensive awareness, hockey IQ, defense, physicality. He brings everything and brings it at an elite level. And he can definitely bring that in the NHL next season. He has a big frame, which could definitely help him in his rookie season to get past defenders and to get past competition, and I think he'll use it in his rookie year and do quite well. When it comes to Kaapo Kakko's rookie year, I think it can definitely depend on the team that he gets drafted by, whether it's New Jersey or the New York Rangers. But I think when it comes to his rookie year, I think he will be in the Calder conversation. I see him getting about 50 to 60 points on the year, which is definitely good to be in that Calder conversation and might get him at least a finalist in that, which will be fantastic for a guy that has a lot of expectations right now. He's had a fantastic season, has accomplished a ton of things in the Liga, the World Juniors, and the World Championships. I feel like the NHL is the next step for him in his NHL career. When it comes to the other 4 prospects on this list, I would say they're about here, and Kaapo Kakko is up to here, especially in the NHL ready category. When it comes to Kaapo Kakko, he has proved himself to be above the pack when it comes to NHL readiness in the Liga, in the World Juniors, in the World Championships, against men, which is the most important thing, against fantastic men's players, especially in the World Championships. He's proved to be on a dominant level, and while it might not transition completely to the NHL, I think we'll see signs of that elite talent that he has, and we'll see it in the NHL. Whether it's with the New Jersey Devils or the New York Rangers. And while Jack Hughes is certainly getting a lot of experience from the World Championships, he's been at a disadvantage because he's been playing against NCAA competition and about 21 to 22-year-olds for the whole season. Well, that's good. Kaapo Kakko has been playing against 30-year-olds, against very old players, but good players in the Liga and the World Championships, and he's been conditioned to that, which will bring him a lot of experience and a lot of advantages into the NHL next season, and will give him a much bigger head start above a guy like Jack Hughes. But of course, with this video, I want to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below. So, let me know what you think about my top 5 NHL-ready prospects. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? And of course, the question on to you, who do you think is the most NHL-ready prospect in this NHL draft? But if you guys want some more Grav videos just like this one, you can click on this card right here to watch my video about Kaapo Kakko and why I prefer him over Jack Hughes. But that'll be it for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Again, comment down below your thoughts on my NHL-ready prospects, what do you agree with, what do you disagree with, and what your most NHL-ready prospect would be. I'll see you guys next video or stream. Goodbye.